Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio, where we break down the best hair metal albums from the 80s and the 90s. So grab that volume knob, crank it up, and enjoy the show.
From the VVR studios in sunny downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up is the podcaster, holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Texas-sized howdy to all you folks out there.
And last but not least, the podcaster, who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Every once in a while, I'll call up Eddie Van Halen and ask, found that fourth chord yet? Direct quote from Billy Gibbons, and one of the things we'll have to talk about.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons, have you learned any scales yet? No? Okay. As always, the mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics like this one today. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, can you please tell the listeners where they can find this fine podcast?
I sure can. We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen. Tell a friend. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, that will help out the show. You can find us on social medias at Instagram at VVR Podcast Insta, and Facebook at Violent Vinyl Podcast.
Nice. And I was just talking to Lisa and Dave before the show about possibly trying to grow this program. I feel like this podcast has legs. No pun intended.
She knows how to use them.
But do we? That was my question. So I feel like this podcast should be fucking huge. I feel like we should be fucking doing much better than we are. I mean, we do fine. But I feel like we should be more of one of the top tier podcasts on Spotify and Apple, which we are not. So we're looking into possibly getting involved with a management company or something. And that leads me to this, because we are going into the mailbag. If you do podcast stuff, if you are a promoter, if you are somebody that is involved in that aspect of podcasting and you want to help the show out, shoot us an email. Let us know. I mean, even if you have any ideas or tips on how to get this show to the next level, feel free to let us know, because, I don't know, we're kind of inept at that, I guess. Okay, so let's head into the mailbag. J Shear 101, he writes in, Poison should have done more blues. And I wrote back saying that I thought that they wrote for the time, right? I mean, Poison wrote the songs. They had the right to be one of the biggest glam, rock metal bands of the time. But I do agree. I think that some more like sleazy blues riffs and stuff, maybe like a little more of that Faster Pussycat edge, would have been fun to hear out of Poison. I'm not sure if they could have carried that load. Wasn't really their shtick, but I do agree, Jay Shear. I think that it would have been cool to hear a little bit more of a bluesy sleaze edge on that. What do you guys think?
I think that Bret Michaels' solo band definitely took the turn to blues, almost pure blues, even into country in some way. So sounds like he agrees with you, J Shear 101.
Dave?
I don't know. I think Poison is fine as is.
Dave's a purist. Okay, good.
When they play fake blues, it's fake blues.
It is. Okay. Next up, Anthony wrote in, Lisa, thumbs up for all your LA Guns knowledge. I also saw that acoustic show in New Bedford back in October. Phil Lewis still sounds incredible. Leopard Skin is a great album. I just saw their tour a few weeks ago in New Bedford, and they sounded great. LA Guns is definitely one of the best bands from this era. Still doing it. Hands down. And Lisa sent me a screenshot that Phil Lewis, singer of LA Guns, actually liked the LA Guns episode.
He did. I posted it on my page just to share it with everyone. And within about maybe 10 minutes of me posting it, Phil Lewis liked the post. And I did a little, a little like fangirl squeal. And yeah.
Yeah, I did a little fangirl squeal as well. All right. Awesome. So thanks for writing in, guys. We appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun punching the mailbag. Tonight, we will be discussing Eliminator, the 8th studio album by ZZ Top, produced by Bill Ham, released on March 23rd of 1983 on Warner Brothers Records. The album peaked at the number 9 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200. The band's lineup was as follows: Billy Gibson, guitars and vocals; Dusty Hill, bass vocals; and Frank Beard, strange last name for this band, seeing he's the only one without the beard, on drums. So there you go. Dave, you got the facts on this trio?
I have a boatload of facts.
Oh boy.
ZZ Top was formed in Texas in 1969. They achieved success by the mid-70s with extensive recording and touring. They achieved superstardom with this album and became cemented in popular culture for their flash and long beards. Bassist Dusty Hill unfortunately passed away in 2021, but the band does continue today with Elwood Francis, the band's longtime guitar tech, playing bass, reportedly at Dusty's request.
That's cool.
I'm sure you've seen online it's almost a meme now, the pictures of Elwood playing a 17-string bass that he regrets bringing out because now it's so popular he has to bring it out.
Oh, sounds like a load.
Yeah. In December of 2023, Julian's Auctions conducted part 1 of Dusty's personal belongings after his demise. His 1953 Fender Precision bass sold for a whopping $393,700. Yes, big bucks, placing it just behind Paul McCartney's Yamaha BB1200 Wings bass that garnered $471,900 in 2021.
Wow.
Dusty used that 53P bass extensively throughout his career for live performances and studio recordings until he retired it from service in 2012.
Nice bass, huh? I bet that Paul McCartney bass would have gone for more if he had fucking signed it.
From Wikipedia, ZZ Top has released 15 studio albums and sold an estimated 50 million records. They have won 3 MTV Video Music Awards, and in 2004, the members were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2015, Rolling Stone ranked Billy Gibbons the 32nd greatest guitarist of all time.
Oh.
The band members have supported campaigns and charities, including Childline, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and the Delta Blues Museum.
I think on that same list, we said in the last podcast that Tracy Guns, I believe, was number 36 or something like that. Come on.
I mean, Billy Gibbons is fine. He writes good, he writes some good, like, riffs for songs, right? He writes some good stuff like that. But I mean, as a lead guitar player,
he's great.
He's okay. He's okay. He's okay. Keep going, Dave.
Also from Wikipedia, the name of the band was Billy's idea. The band had a small apartment covered with concert posters, and he noticed many performers' names used initials. He particularly noted B.B. King and ZZ Hill and thought of combining the two into ZZ King, but considered it too similar to the original name. He then figured that King is at the top, which gave him the idea of naming the band ZZ Top.
Good name.
Did you hear the other rumors that people have talked about for that name that were not true?
I have not.
No. So one rumor was that they named their band after Zigzag and Top cigarette rolling papers. Obviously
That's cool.
Not true, but fun.
Should be.
Yep. And the other one is that they got their name from a pizza delivery business sign that had some letters missing, causing it to spell just ZZ Top with the letters that were left.
Nice.
Also not true, but a great way to open a stoner film with a sign like that. So.
I like it. I like both of those ideas better than the original.
In 1978, after almost 7 years of touring and a string of successful albums, ZZ Top went on hiatus while Frank Beard dealt with some addiction problems. Billy Gibbons traveled to Europe. Frank went to Jamaica, and Dusty Hill went to Mexico. Dusty also spent 3 months working at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, saying he wanted to feel normal and ground himself after years spent performing. In 1979, ZZ Top returned to record a new album. Gibbons and Hill were now sporting chest-length beards. This is where the beards came from. ZZ Top signed with Warner Brothers Records and released the album Deguello in late 1979.
Nice.
The change in ZZ Top sound from straight-up blues to their more popular 80s sound, utilizing synthesizers and affected non-standard sounds for blues bands, began on their previous several albums, as we mentioned, Deguello in 1979, which we covered in episode 50 of the old version of our show.
Yes.
And also their album El Loco from 1981. That sound took prominence in this album.
I really wish they had just stuck to their fucking blues sound, man.
So let's talk about the car. It is the one on the cover of the album and in the videos. The souped-up car was built between 1976 and 1983 and is recognizable for its red finish and ZZ pinstripe graphics. According to an article on streetmusclemag.com by Lindsay Fisher, it is a chopped 1933 Ford Coupe known as Eliminator. It helped bring what some consider a dying hot rod culture at the time to the famed MTV generation. The build of the car was originally inspired by the Pete and Jake's coupe from the movie The California Kid, and is a true steel 1933 Ford, not a fiberglass replica of the classic model. And the original car now resides at the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where rock fans and hot rod enthusiasts can get a glimpse of the famous 33 coupe year-round.
Who owned the car originally?
Billy bought it. I think the story was from the original owner.
Cool.
And then he wanted to, he fixed it up and rotted it out and stuff.
I mean, you have to imagine without that car and without those videos and MTV, I don't think this band would have been quite as big as they were. I mean, those videos were a big part of why, Legs and Sharp Dressed Man really just popped off the way they did. I mean, they're great songs. Don't get me wrong. They really are. But I mean, the timing with MTV and that fucking car and those beautiful models, it all was like a perfect storm for ZZ Top. You know?
Yeah. Just when pushed everything over the top.
Yes,
so to speak. Let's see. So Billy Gibbons was inspired by British electronic acts such as Depeche Mode and OMD to explore electronic music technology. Pre-production engineer Lyndon Hudson collaborated with Billy in Texas on the tempos and songs. Gibbons later called Hudson an influential associate, a gifted songwriter. He brought some elements to the forefront that helped reshape what ZZ Top were doing, starting in the studio and eventually to the live stage. The producer Bill Ham and engineer Terry Manning joined Gibbons in Memphis, Tennessee to edit the songs of this album, replacing much of the contributions of bassist Dusty Hill and drummer Frank Beard with synthesizers and drum machines.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's becomes a problem in some spots here, but we'll talk about that.
Most spots.
The band's longtime stage manager, David Blaney, wrote about the collaboration in 1994 in his book, Sharp Dressed Men. Lyndon Hudson, in a fair world, should have had his name all over Eliminator and gotten the just compensation he deserved. Instead, he got ostracized. End quote. After the album was released, Mr. Hudson sued for proper songwriting credit. And in December 1986, the judge decided in Hudson's favor, awarding him $600,000.
Ooh, that's a nice little payday.
Yeah, probably not enough. I think if he was properly credited on the album, he would have made a lot more money.
He could have bought fucking Paul McCartney's bass.
Sure.
And had it signed.
Yes. And that's what I got.
Cool. Dave, this is one of those instances where, I remember this album, and I remember it being like this really great rock album, but I haven't listened to it in a long time. And I was really surprised by the electronic influence that was on the album. And I was also really surprised by the down tempo of the album. So I thought they made some questionable decisions with the tempos of some of these songs. I mean, a couple of them are like glaring, like strangely tempoed down the whole album. Lisa, what do you have on this trio?
Hmm.
Mm,
So I hope we're all friends at the
sure,
end of
no.
this.
Hey, I'm not a ZZ Top fucking purist. Go.
Yeah. So just for the audience listening, I just want to state that I am aware that I'm in the minority here. I don't like this band. Most people I know either love the band or think, well, they're basically okay. I don't know a lot of people that really dislike them the way that I do. So I really think that I'm in the minority, right? Including my best friend and my best friend's kid, who both love this band. I don't know what the block is for me.
You
It's
hate the blues.
Yeah, I hate generic rock music, I think is what it is. And
It's
that's
not generic.
it's totally generic. And I'm going to be the villain on this podcast, and that's totally fine. And if you
Boo.
don't like my assessment of the band, I fully expect to hear a lot of hate from people.
Write in and tell
about this.
Lisa how she's wrong.
Now,
Yeah,
Lisa,
and-
I'm in the camp of like it's okay. I like ZZ Top, but I have to say, before doing this album, I thought I liked them more than I did. So I'm probably going to jump on your little bandwagon from time to time today. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, I'm told by my bestie and also by Dave that their older music was really great.
Better.
The music in the 70s, yeah, that basically that kind of made them who they were. And I also feel like them going into this album, we talked about this a little bit with Whitesnake, almost like the album was formulaic. It was written purposely to be radio hits, right? It was purposely written to fit with this kind of video stream that they have. There wasn't a lot of like, these guys didn't sit down and write this music because they loved it. They sat down and write this music because they wanted hits and they wanted the money from this music. That's how I feel it was. Almost like they were dressing up as an 80s band when they were actually a blues band. So that's my opinion on that. So Eliminator is their 8th studio album. So by this time, this band is seasoned. They have a loyal, absolutely huge, identifiable fan base. The style of the music is more rock, a little bit blues. It's not glam. It's not metal. It's hard to completely compare this against all of the other albums that we usually choose for this podcast. It's a completely different genre, but they're releasing albums in this time frame, and their music is being put up against, the glam and the metal acts that were of this time. So I think it's fair that we compare them. like
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna get to the the choice of the album and the choice of the should they have made it track today.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. So at this time, and now remember 83, radio is completely dominated by pop, right? MTV is only in its second year, like not even, I don't think it's reached its third year at this point. MTV has actually started playing a wider range of music than when it started by this time. So while you had some, you had like New Order and Bryan Adams and Bananarama and Susie, Goth Queen, Susie and the Banshees. But they were also playing like Def Leppard. They were playing, Dawkins. They were playing Twisted Sister. But you also had Bowie. You had the Eurythmics. You had Prince. You had a lot of big, powerful musicians.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Yeah, really, really pushing the envelope of creativity. And I think that videos at the time changed the way that people made music. Not just how they wrote the songs, but how they thought about the concepts for their album, how they thought about what the videos were going to be, and most particularly how they looked. Because you couldn't just be what was the first video on MTV. Video killed the radio star. You couldn't just be a sound, a blank canvas. So there's some huge changes going on during this time. The band already had 20 years of music behind them and performing. Maybe they were a little jaded. Maybe they were a little overconfident. Maybe they were stepping into a genre that they didn't totally know how to compete in. I think that they had a lot of people guiding them. I think that their label guided them. I think their producers guided them. I think there were a lot of people making them into a hit act, is kind of what happened. So let's go into the individual guys. Billy Gibbons, guitar and vocals. He's the only member of ZZ Top that has stayed with the band through its entire history. He's from Houston, Texas. His dad was a professional concert pianist and a conductor. His uncle Cedric was an art director for MGM Studios. Billy actually started as a percussionist and studied under the legendary Tito Puente. That's a fun fact.
Interesting.
Yeah. He started playing guitar at the age of 13 when he was gifted his first Gibson Sunburst Melody Maker.
Ooh,
Nice.
good guitar.
Yeah.
I had a red one.
Yeah.
Really?
It's nice for a first guitar, isn't it?
Do you still have it, Dave?
No, I sold it.
Was it under the tree Christmas morning?
No, it wasn't one
No.
of those. It was. I saw it online and I had to have it.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Billy attended Warner Brothers Art School in Hollywood, California. Now, there's some quotes from him about his time at this school talking about music and all of that. I can't find anything on this school ever existing anywhere, including in all the Warner Brothers, historical documentation. So I don't know anything about this school or if it even ever existed. So that's fun. Before he was 18, he was in 3 bands, Saints, Billy G and the Blue Flames, and the Coachmen. At 18, he would have his first hit with the band Moving Sidewalks, for which he wrote the song 99th Floor. That was their big hit at the time. It was psychedelic rock, and they opened up for the Jimi Hendrix Experience. He claims that Jimmy taught him how to play when he was 17. So, ZZ Top was formed in 1969, as Dave shared with us. Think about what was happening in music at the time. The Doors were still around. Right? This is a very different time for music than the bands that we usually talk about that form in the early to mid 80s, right?
Yep.
So in 2015, he embarked on his solo career, named the Billy Gibson and the BFGs, which would spawn one album in November of that year called Perfectamundo, which is, I believe, something my dad used to say when he was pleased with something. Perfectamundo. But between...
He's also got another solo album.
Yeah, after that, I think, 2018, I believe it was. Yeah. But between ZZ Top and his solo career...
Big Bad Blues, 2018.
Yeah, he appeared with countless other musicians, working with bands like the Revolting Cocks, working with Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard, with Nickelback, that kind of fits, with Kid Rock, also gross, Sammy Hagar, Ben Harper, and Social Distortion, just to name a few. Although I noticed that the list of collaborations for this band, and all 3 of them, not just Billy individually, was a lot smaller than a lot of the other bands that we've seen. It seems like they didn't do so much work with a lot of other people. I think we're going to find out why here in a minute. He's also participated in a lot of events around the Gibson brand. In 2007, he was featured in the documentary feature film 1959 Burst, alongside Les Paul guitar legends like Slash, Rick Nielsen, and Eric Johnson. He was also, he played guitar on the Les Paul and Friends American-made world-played track, Bad Case of Loving You. He was also a session musician and played with John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival. His guitar style is said to be the inspiration for Money for Nothing from Dire Straits, which you can definitely hear the connection.
Totally.
Yeah. The legend is he was trying to sort of cop that ZZ Top tone.
Yeah.
And he, Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits came up with that riff and wound up writing that song.
Yeah, and that was 1985, so that was only a few years after this album. He had a recurring role on the TV show Bones, where he basically played himself as the father of Michaela Conlin's character, Angela Pearly Gates Montenegro. He's never referred to by name in the show, but the character's name, his daughter's name in the show, her middle name is the name of his guitar, Pearly Gates. Yeah, so that's the connection there. He wrote a book. He's an author. The book is Billy F. Gibbons, Rock and Roll Gearhead, with author Tom Vickers also helping him out there. First published in 2005. The book has 3 sections: the life, the cars, and the guitars. So,
Nice.
yep. In 2011, Gibson joined Texas-based Mojo Products to launch a line of hot sauces, barbecue sauces, and other products. You ever tried this?
Is that say Mojo?
Is it Mojo or
Mojo.
Moho?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Mojo because it was Texas-based.
Mojo, like the
Spanish.
blues.
Okay. Yeah, Mojo. Mojo
I
Products.
have never tried the hot sauce,
I've never tried it either, and I think I kind of want to.
but I'm
so.
sure it's smoking.
You
Yeah.
guys like the table side guacamole when you go out to eat?
Yes.
Of course. And do you have it with the spice? Do you like them to put a little jalapeno
I like
in
I
it?
like a little spice in it. Yeah.
I like a little jalapeno in mine. We went out to a
Yeah.
restaurant like a week ago, had the table side guac. It was fucking delicious. And the guy goes, "You want it hot?" And we are like, "A little bit." I think he misunderstood us. He put like 5 jalapenos in it. It was delicious. I mean, I was paying for it the next morning. My butthole was what was the word we were just using? Mejo.
Smoking.
It was smoking.
It
was hot.
I know Dave doesn't like avocado though. So
What?
yeah.
No,
Oh.
I'll just go with the warm tub of nacho cheese.
Dave's a queso guy, right?
Yeah, Dave's a queso guy.
Okay.
Okay. He's often known by a nickname, the Reverend. Have you ever heard him called the Reverend?
Yes,
do you
that's
know
right.
do you know where that comes from?
Reverend
No.
Billy G.
Okay. So he had a friend working on the docks in Houston, and he took delivery of some Chinese slippers, but they were all left feet. They didn't know what to do with them. So they bought them for a dime on the dollar and called them thought-provoking soul slippers. So he became the Reverend Willie G, selling these slippers over the airwaves. There was like a radio show at the time that you could buy a small amount of time and like sell whatever it was that you were selling in the Houston area. So basically, they sold these slippers that were all left slippers. It was kind of a scam, and it said, "We'll stamp your favorite psalm on the sole, and with every step you take, thousands of prayers will go to Jesus."
Oh God.
So it was a complete scam, which makes total sense because this band has been kind of embroiled in several scams over the years. He was also rolled in controversy during his 2018 tour of Australia. He canceled the tour after the first 2 shows when most fans demanded their money back based on his disappointing and shocking performance. There was a fan who there lots of fans commented, but one fan commented, feeling ripped off big time. Just been to the Newcastle show of Billy of ZZ Top fame. And Jimmy Shine. What a disgrace. $100 ticket for a 45-minute farce, 6 songs, and a bit of dribble on a couch. The promoter should be issuing refunds and cancel the rest of the shows and put them on the first plane home. At least the local support acts showed what Aussies are made of, but Billy and Shine could hang their heads in shame. I think I've listened to my last ZZ Top song. Feel free to share this post to save others from wasting their money on this tour. So
Not a good fucking Yelp review.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about another scam that the band was embroiled in a little bit. But for now, let's move on to Dusty.
So Billy was the original Holy Roller.
Yeah, apparently.
Nice,
I mean,
I like
it
it.
was a scam. So, I don't know that he was necessarily an actual Holy Roller. Later, he was actually, he became an actual, I don't want to call him a reverend, but he did that can marry people certificate, with
Universal Life Church.
Yes, exactly.
I have that.
Yeah, a lot of people have that, right? So could you?
I'm a reverend too.
He actually married a lot of people in the rock industry. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Name them.
I have a list somewhere. I can actually send them. Yeah. So
Tommy and Pam.
no, it wasn't Tommy and Pam. Okay. Dusty. Moving on to Dusty, bass and vocals. Sadly, of course, as we mentioned, Dusty passed away July 28th, 2021. In line with his wishes, he was succeeded by the band's longtime guitar tech, Elwood Francis, who actually had filled in for him over the years when he had some issues.
Did Elwood know about this arrangement?
Definitely, because he was very vocal about saying, if I ever can't make it to a show, if I ever don't show up, you put my guitar in Elwood's hands.
This is sounding like another Columbo episode.
Yeah. So he was born in Dallas, Texas. As a kid, he played the cello. He started playing rock music with his older brother, Rocky Hill, who would play a big part in his future. He began singing for money with his older brother at the age of 8 and didn't take up bass until the age of 13. He's unusual for a bassist. He didn't actually play the guitar first. He went directly from cello to bass, which I think is a pretty good crossover between the two instruments.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah. He played bass with Johnny Lee Hooker, Freddie King, and Jimmy Reed. In 82, he released his first solo album, Texas Shuffle. In 88, his self-titled album, so it's actually named after himself, Dusty Hill, was produced by ZZ Top manager and producer Bill Ham. Bill Ham, of course, passed in 2009. So Hill, his brother Rocky, and future ZZ Top drummer Frank Beard played in a local Dallas band, the Warlocks, also in the Cellar Dwellers, and in a band called American Blues. After American Blues moved to Houston, Dusty decided he wanted to move more towards rock and stay away from blues. Rocky, his brother, did not agree with this and left the band. So the two remaining guys, hooked up with Billy, and that's kind of how ZZ Top came out of this. So here is, we're going to talk a little bit about the other scam for this band. At this time, like as the Moving Sidewalks were dissolving, as American Blues is dissolving, and ZZ Top is starting, ZZ Top members Dusty Hill and Frank Beard toured the country, playing in a band called the Zombies. They had fake names, fake backstories, but they had real Zombies songs. Now, the Zombies were an actual band from the UK, a British pop band whose song Time of the Season became a pretty big hit in the US. Mm-hmm. The British band had no idea it had a hit in the US at the time, and actually had broken up in 1969. So this would have been very close to the time that they were touring around pretending to be.
Is that song?
So the name was Fair Game.
Well, but they were actually pretending to be this actual band and playing their music and playing under fake names. So their excuse was they just wanted to go out and play music, and they wanted to meet other famous musicians. Side note, that's illegal. So yeah, super, super sketchy and kind of disgusting. So.
Was there a big hit song, that one? What's your name? Who's your daddy?
Was it? I don't know.
I think it is that song.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, so that's a really shitty thing to do, is basically stealing someone else's music and art and pretending that it's yours and making a bunch of money on it.
Yeah.
I just want to announce I'm going on tour with my new band called Bon Jovi, and I'll be in your town soon.
You just have to name like a couple. Just change one letter. It's like anchovy. You're good.
Okay. Dusty did do some singing for ZZ Top. Obviously, he's not the front man, but in addition to playing bass, he sang lead vocal on Tush, the band's first top 20 hit and one of its most popular songs. In 1976, after almost 7 years of touring and a string of successful albums, ZZ Top went on hiatus for 3 years. At this time, Beard was dealing with some addiction problems. Hill, of course, as we mentioned, spent a period of time working for Dallas Fort Worth's International Airport. He claims he was almost never recognized, but when someone did recognize him, he would deny who he was and act like the guy was crazy.
He called himself Joe.
Yeah, like,
That
do you
must be
think
fun.
I would be sitting here if I'm a rock star?
That's awesome. That would be
Yeah,
fun. That'd be
is
fun.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm not that guy.
Yeah, and to be fair, it wasn't only Beard's drug problems that caused the band's hiatus. They had been working a grueling schedule for their first 5 albums, including a year where they played over 100 shows. There was some fatigue and some burnout on top of the addiction problems that led to this hiatus. So many reasons. When the band reformed, we got the signature long beard gimmick. I call it a gimmick. In 1979. They were actually at one time offered $1 million to scrape off the scruff in front of a camera. They were.
Yeah, by Gillette, I believe.
Yeah, but these...
razor company.
Yeah, exactly. But these beards were worth more to them than money. No dice, Gibbons said. Even adjusted for inflation, this isn't going to fly.
Fun fact, the Gillette factory is here in Boston, which is why we
Yes,
used
it
to
is.
call the old Patriot Stadium the Razor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch out, because you'll get cut.
Yeah.
The Razor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he also goes on to say about his beard that seeing one's face in the mirror clean shaven is akin to a horror film, specifically a Vincent Price movie, and the idea should never be entertained. The drummer of the group obviously never have to worry about that since he's always been 100% beard.
Yep.
Beardless.
Beard.
It's funny, we can actually see the Gillette factory here from atop the Hancock building, which is where the new VVR studio is located.
Yeah, right. Yeah. On December 16th, 1984, Hill accidentally shot himself in the abdomen with his when his Derringer fell from his boot and discharged. He drove himself to a hospital before going into shock and made a full recovery.
God, that's
Whoops.
oh, sure. Was he playing the NFL?
Yeah, I guess. In Texas, everybody carries a gun, right? Whoops. So
Oh, yeah. There were several guns in the his auction.
yeah.
Didn't I think what was it? Plexico Burris? I one of these football players. He also shot himself by accident.
Yeah,
I think it was
a lot of
Plexico.
people have. It's not uncommon.
That's
so.
why I don't have a gun. I'm so clumsy, man. I'd killed myself like 10 times over by now.
Gotta be careful.
You're gonna shoot your eye out.
Hill's on-screen appearances include Back to the Future Part 3, Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme, and a July 2009 episode of WWE Raw, Deadwood, and my personal favorite, appearing as himself in the 11th season episode of King of the Hill, Hank Gets Dusted, in which Hank Hill is said to be Dusty's cousin.
It's awesome.
My absolute favorite. In 2000, ZZ Top played the Black Tie Affair of President George W. Bush's inauguration. Another Texas guy, Ted Nugent, was also scheduled to play but canceled the gig.
Weak.
Yeah, when Bush was still the acting governor of Texas, he declared a state holiday on May 15th called ZZ Top Day. But the holiday had actually been around a lot longer than that. In '86, the Texas House of Representatives declared the band the official Texas Heroes in a unanimous decision. They also declared ZZ Top Day for the first time, although back then it was August 27th.
So there's two ZZ Top days?
I think they switched it to May when Bush decided that was the day. So.
This band does not need its own day.
I'm surprised. I haven't heard any other bands getting their own day, so that seems a little strange to me. But yeah. In 2000, Hill was diagnosed with hepatitis C and stopped working for a while, which was one of the times that Elwood kind of stepped in and played for him. He didn't return to the band for 2 years. In 2014, he fell on the tour bus and injured his hip, requiring surgery. Part of the tour was canceled.
Whoops.
Yep. In 2021, Hill left a tour due to problems with his hip. Apparently, at the time, he had also had a broken shoulder. He passed when he was 72, said to be suffering from complications from his hip and shoulder injury and from bursitis. And we can't forget he also had hepatitis C. There really was never a full report on cause of death. I don't think we really care. Honestly, it doesn't matter.
I mean, he was pretty old.
I mean,
That's
it doesn't.
cold.
I mean it doesn't
Gives a
matter because
fuck.
it isn't our business. That's what I mean.
Gives
I
a
don't mean it does.
fuck why he died.
No. I just feel like it isn't our business, and I think the way that his wife speaks about it, and the way that Gibbons speaks about it, it's nobody's business. What
I
happened,
agree.
basically. So
Yeah.
Family matter.
yeah, and actually Gibbons has talked about it over the past couple of years. Blaming the broken shoulder and broken hip. That's about all they can determine. Let's face it, you don't necessarily pass away from a broken shoulder or a broken hip.
Yeah, just sometimes you get old and life breaks you down.
Yeah, you get infections, you get, who knows, you get
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. So Gibbons later confirmed that Hill had recorded bass and vocals for ZZ Top's upcoming 16th album before his death. Did that ever come out? I think no. I think they had 15 albums. Yeah.
Let's find out.
Mm-hmm. So when he passed, an absolute slew of musicians paid tribute to him, including Paul Stanley, Ozzy Osbourne, John Fogerty, Flea, Zakk Wylde, Tony Iommi, David Coverdale, the Scorpions Band, Foghat, Brian May, and many, many more. He was featured in the BBC Radio 4 obituary program Last Word. So, okay, Frank Beard, the only guy in the band who had no beard.
So crazy.
And he didn't have to because it was his name.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So Beard is kind of credited with the creation of ZZ Top as Moving Sidewalks fell apart. He was the one who introduced Gibbons to Hill. So his credits on the first 3 albums are a little strange. I don't know if you noticed that. He's credited under his nickname Rube Beard on the first and the third album of the band, but he's credited under his actual name on the second album of the band.
Tax purposes.
Weird, right? It's kind of strange. Yeah. He has quite a deep history of addiction and substance issues, which I would say was common in the industry at that time, especially in the late 1960s. A quote from him: "The first time I ever did any drug at all, I injected LSD.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
And boy, I liked it. I was looking for God in that whole thing, you know. I really became a seeker of truth and all of that." So,
did you say he ingested it or injected? He mainlined LSD?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Injected, yeah.
I've taken acid on my tongue, but I can't imagine shooting it. Fuck.
He repeatedly said that he regrets spending so much money on drugs for the damage that it did to just about everything in his life, including his relationships and his job. He claims that he is the reason for the 3-year hiatus. That's what he's stated. Of course, we know that there were probably lots of reasons why they needed to take a little break. He spent his first major paycheck totaling $72,000 completely on drugs.
That's insane.
Yeah. He currently lives on a ranch. I don't know if I want to say runs a ranch or lives on a ranch called Top 40 Ranch in Richmond, Texas. You can go and look at this property online. It is absolutely gorgeous. 8 bedrooms, 5 baths. The style is very New England, honestly. It actually looks really cool. It has a big wrapped porch and peaked roofs. He has a solar panel farm to power the ranch and has a big pool. And an outdoor entertainment area. The house is registered as a ranch with Texas. So there's a little controversy about what this means. What's the difference between a farm and a ranch? Technically, if you are registered as a ranch, you are producing animals and selling them in some way, right? So, but there's really no report of what the animal is that he's producing. Probably longhorn cattle or something like that. There's a lot of land.
Probably ferrets.
So.
Alpacas.
It could be anything.
Free kittens.
Yeah, but being able to call your home a ranch indicates that you are doing some business like that.
Sure.
So, yeah. He's married to Debbie Meredith from 1982. They remain married to this day and have 3 children. Just this past March, Beard took a pause from touring during the Elevation tour, and a man named John Douglas took over for him. This is the same drummer that took over for him in 2002 when he had an appendectomy in Paris.
What's that?
An appendectomy is when you get your appendix removed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Big. It's a pretty major surgery. So
I'm a fucking hypochondriac. I hope I
Pretty
don't have
routine.
It's routine in that a lot of people get it, but I think for a drummer, like that's really the muscles that you need when you're playing is like your core. So yeah.
Yeah, you'd be out of commission for a little while.
Yeah. So there's no reports at this time as to what health issue caused him to take some time off from the band. He remains private, and that's fine. He's 75 now. There were a lot of calls recently by fans to Frank and to the rest of the band to retire. In fact, fans all over social media want them to retire maybe before it's too late. You know, you don't want a band to outlive its lifetime.
They all do, though.
Yeah, they do. The tour itself is still ongoing, and there are dates available through October. Bands with them on certain dates include the Wallflowers, Night Ranger, Foghat, and Molly Hatchet.
Well, we know what kind of animals Dave and Lisa are raising on their ranch.
My puppy.
Just the one.
Fun fact, they are one of the most prolific touring bands of any age. just last year, 2024, they played 99 shows, blowing right past Judas Priest, Styx, and Journey, other bands of the time.
99 Luft Balloons.
Hmm.
Oh, Lisa's
Yeah.
hitting that dog. You should see this. It's fucking
Hitting
terrifying.
her.
I'm joking.
I'm just trying to get her
PETA, I'm
attention.
joking. Lisa's beating that
Aw,
dog.
she's my baby.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
that's all I got.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's roll on to some opening thoughts on this album. I will get us started. So this one feels more like an 80s beard rock album to me than a 80s hair metal album. I mean, there's not a speck of guy liner or a drop of Aquanet to be found anywhere on this album. But I will say ZZ Top does have plenty of hair, albeit it's on their faces. So obviously growing up in the 80s, I've owned this album probably a couple of different times. I was fairly familiar with it as a whole body of work, and I was very familiar with the hits, but I haven't listened to any of it in quite a while, and I remember it a little differently than it was when I listened to it this week. Question is, did it stand the test of time? Like always, let's find out. I want to say this though, there's a few albums out there that we have actually reviewed that had the same effect on me. One was Def Leppard Pyromania. I remembered it better than it was, and I remembered it with real drums, and it was a drum machine for the whole album, and it really hurt to listen for me. I just do not like the way drum machine sounds, and that includes my own music. I hate using them, but I mean, when you're writing music yourself in your studio, you got to do that. But when you're a major band on a major label doing a major studio album, I don't want to fucking hear it. So it was on Pyromania. We heard it on Purple Rain by Prince. I mean, I get it. He was breaking ground. He was, bringing this to everybody. I would have way rather heard that album with an amazing R&B drummer on it. And then we're going to get it here on this album. And I just don't fucking care for it. Dave, were you familiar with the album before picking it for this hair metal album program?
I have listened to it. I did not have the album back in the day, but of course, as a member of the MTV generation, I saw the videos on MTV nonstop. It was only a few years ago I went on a ZZ Top tear and actually investigated their full albums. Being a fan of classic rock and the blues, I really dug what they do. I'm kicking myself for not going to see them live while Dusty was still with us. And we briefly mentioned before, but I'll mention it again about Billy's really cool book called Rock and Roll Gearhead. I have a copy of it. It is awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's a coffee table book with lots of photos of his guitars and custom cars. It's a fun one to spin through.
Ah, that sounds cool. I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
I do want to say too, I know the song, the intro song for the show is, we're best hair metal albums and, hair metal guy. I think that we can relax on those a little bit, like if we want to bring some other bands to this show, I don't have a problem with that if you guys don't. I mean, I don't want to start doing like Mariah Carey and fucking, stuff like that again, but I think it's okay to bring, other rock acts if they're not, fully glammed out. Like I was talking about maybe doing like Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Lisa, I know there's some acts out there like the Typo Negative stuff that you're interested in that, still fits the basic idea of, fun. It's cool, so let's just switch it to like cool music from, the era.
I don't have any trouble with having these types of bands on the podcast because
Yeah.
these were the band. They were all competing in the same pool for the same pool of fans.
Agreed.
Like Mariah Carey doesn't fit obviously because it was not relevant, but like any of these bands were competing for MTV time, for radio time with all of the glam bands.
But I feel like I have to say it in case somebody found the podcast, saw the logo, was like, oh, hair metal from the 80s, 90s. And then they come over for the first show and it's like ZZ Top Eliminator. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm fine with it if you guys are, and the fans will just have to fucking suck it up. So.
Next week, Barry Manilow.
Lisa, were you familiar with this fucking album before listening to it today?
Well, I knew the band existed. My only positive memory of the band is that when I worked for Sam Goody, it was easy to file their cassettes and CDs because they were always last at the end alphabetically, and I didn't have to do any thinking for that.
Classic. I love it.
I didn't own this album or any other ZZ Top album before or after this. I do remember the hits because I was forced to endure them on the radio or on MTV when you couldn't always listen exactly what you wanted to. Hearing this band back in the day made me turn the station or literally turn off the music and listen to silence rather than hearing this. I literally can't see what anyone likes about this music. It's generic rock. I had some memories that the band was really humorous, like that they were funny and that the videos were like kind of kitschy and funny. I had that memory in my head. It did not translate through. Let me just say that. There wasn't any of that. I can appreciate kind of their gimmicks, the look that they cultivated, the way that they're very recognizable and memorable. I appreciate that. I find it hilarious that the man in the band named Beard doesn't have a beard. I think that's fantastic. I'm not a big fan of beards on men in general. A little scruff is nice. I am a fan of Mr. Beard on YouTube, the competitive eater.
I love Mr. Beard. I love
Mr. Beard. Love Mr. Beard.
What's that, man? Man meets beard.
Beard meets food. Yes.
MEATS.
Yes. Beard meets
Shout
food.
out.
Yep.
But
Shout
watching
out to Mr.
him
Beard.
get the food all stuck in his beard.
I love
it's
it.
Oh, it's amazing.
I love it.
It's
But
amazing.
I'm a bigger fan, of course, of Leah Shutt-Keefer, the Shuts. So check her out too.
Yep.
But none of this music is for me. Not the music, not the aesthetic, none of it. So yeah, I'm waiting for the hate mail that I'm gonna get.
Dude, over in like Japan and China, they see shit like, beard and they're like, fucking Americans are disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, really? This is entertainment. You want to watch somebody just fucking, ugh. It's gross, but I love it too. I watch it all. It's amazing. Lisa, it's funny that you're talking about them being funny. So one thing that did pop out to me today while listening to this record is he does have a lot of funny lyrics. Like, as long as the chicken's not too blue. I mean, he says funny stuff on the song. So
yeah, even in some of the older stuff, if you read the lyrics, there's some humor in there. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I think it's like an undercurrent of
yes,
sort of like humor.
Yeah,
for sure. It's definitely a little tongue in cheek. It's fun. Okay, let's rate the singer. As always, it's 1 through 100, 25 on hair, 25 on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. Well, Billy Gibbons, as talented as he is, he does not have the look that tickles my fancy in a hair metal band or in any band. So for that, I'm going to give him 7.1 points. His stage moves are extremely limited. I mean, it's fun when he spins this little guitar around on his little pivot on his belt buckle. So for me, I'm going to give him another 9.1 points there. He gets a 4-point bump for his guitar skills. And his voice is definitely recognizable and very cool, but not amazing. It's not a lot of harmonies. There's not a lot going on here. So he gets 33 points, 7 points there for a total score of 53.9 points. Dave, Billy Gibbons, how did you see it?
Yes, for this podcast, we are going to consider guitarist Reverend Billy G as the frontman, as we said. Bassist Dusty Hill did sing lead from time to time, but most of the songs are sung by Billy, all but one on this album. As for hair, I am pretty sure Billy is bald. He is an older gent now and is never seen without his trademark hats, sometimes two stacked together. Side note, the fuzzy pom-pom looking hat that Billy wears in recent years is called a Bamileke, made by the same named tribe from Cameroon in Africa. Billy tells a legend that he traded a Texas 10-gallon hat to a tribal chief to attain his first one. Around the time of this album, the band always wore baseball hats or cowboy hats. You've got to go way back near the beginning of the band to see them hatless, beardless, and without the cheap sunglasses. 16.7 points for the strong hat game. Absolute 25 on style and stage presence. Billy is the man, and we get the feeling he knows how to live. Cool looking guitars and sweet hot rod cars. He is a sharp dressed man, and doesn't need to jump up and down to get your attention. I will give him a 35 points on vocal talent. He is singing for the song. He is not the most technical singer out there, but does stretch his range once in a while. He is more of a guitar player who sings, but that definitely works in this band. My total score for BFG is 76.7.
Dave, did you ever see the Pawn Stars episode where the lady brings in Billy Gibbons' suit? It's like an orange suit with cactuses all over it.
I think so, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Nudie
So
suit.
he had left it on a airplane on a flight and had lost track of it. And this was like 30 years ago, whatever. So she brings this suit in. And Rick says, well, I know a guy who can authenticate it. And Billy Gibbons comes into the shop. And he's like, holy shit, it's my fucking suit. And it's made like, there are these really famous suits that like Billy would have made. And a lot of other famous people have suits made by this guy. And Rick and Billy bought it from her for, I think it was like $30,000 or something. And then auctioned it off for charity. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
And Billy Gibbons was super cool on the show when he came in. So I might have undershot him a little bit, but fuck it.
Yeah, that was most likely a nudie suit
Yes.
made by a gentleman out in California. He did a lot of suits for famous, country and rock stars. He did Graham Parsons has a famous suit like that with the embroidery.
Yep.
And there's actually a gentleman out in Nashville named Manuel who is in the family, and he does a lot of clothing for, Aerosmith and Johnny Cash, and he did Elvis's gold suit and stuff like that. Yeah, I got the I was fortunate enough to get to meet him one time.
Did you really?
Yeah, Manuel Cuevas.
Tell us the story.
Not much of a story. It's classified.
Was it at a rest area, Dave, or
No.
Lisa?
Cringe.
No, I went out with his daughter.
Now he's gonna tell the story. He's like, I'm not leaving it on that fucking cliffhanger.
No, I went out with his daughter, and I got the chance to go to the shop and meet him and see the shop.
That's awesome. Do you have a
Good times.
suit? Do you have a suit?
I do not. I don't have that kind of cash. They are very expensive.
Okay. Lisa, please rate one Mr. Billy Gibbons on our frontman leaderboard.
Okay. I'll give him points for being instantly recognizable as a member of ZZ Top. I'll give him points for having a voice that is recognizable as a member of ZZ Top. The problem is that the look is bad and the voice is bad. Some of these songs we'll talk about, the vocals are absolutely abysmal. Reaching for notes and missing them completely and leaving it on the track. Either they just didn't have time to redo it, or that was the best he could do. I'm not really sure what it is, but holy cannoli balls.
You heard him reach for a note? I didn't hear him reach for any notes.
Geez. I mean, I think that his look and his vocals are fine for like a local bar band at 11 p.m. on a Friday night. But for a hit, not really at all. I don't see how this happened. Back in 1983, which is the time period that we're talking about, this man was 34. Okay. He looked like he was 60. Right? The beard didn't make him any more manly. It just made him look old. Was it a gimmick? A cool gimmick? All right, fine. But it made him look aesthetically worse.
That way, when you actually hit 60,
you still look great.
He looks exactly the same today as he did then. That's fair.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So the band relied on gimmicks. The spinning guitar, that was fun. The fur spinning guitar, that was kind of fun. So here's the thing. You were just talking about the suits. Okay. So my comment is he wears these really flashy, interesting blazers. But here's the thing. I didn't notice this back in the day. All I saw was the frickin' beard. But looking now at some older pictures, I was like, wow, look at how cool that suit is. And I didn't see them in the 80s at all. I just went, ZZ Top, and I saw the beard, and I moved on.
I'd wear one of those fucking suits.
Cool. Like cool suits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was real young back at this time. I had zero idea he was in his 30s. He wasn't even on my radar. I wanted a hot young guy, and this was not.
Who didn't?
And this was not the band for me. his stage presence, it's kind of lackluster. I guess when you're playing guitar and you're being the lead singer, you don't have a lot of, ways to move around, right? You can't.
Bullshit, Lisa. Oh, Stanley got a way to move around with that guitar. Let me tell you
Okay,
something else.
you know
You
what?
putting
Fair.
Gene Simmons with me as the front man. You broke the rules, girl.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
All right,
And
Paul, get out of here.
Paul Stanley knew how to do it, right? He knew how to do it. But this guy just stood and, his hands are occupied. He stands at the mic and he doesn't move. And it's kind of boring. I've seen them live a couple of times.
Get
Maybe.
the fuck out of here. You've seen.
Yeah, by
Lisa,
accident, not on purpose.
is there
Just,
anybody you haven't seen fucking ZZ Top
Yeah.
a couple of times? I've
yeah,
never seen ZZ
maybe
Top.
twice. I just like not, not definitely not on purpose.
And explain how you see ZZ Top by accident, because I have to
Like,
know how
they
this
were
happens.
playing with
Oops.
some other band that I wanted to see. And
Oops.
while they were on stage, I was probably trying to get backstage to meet the other band. I wasn't paying attention to the show. Just
See Lisa
just
driving
boring.
home. Well, did I just see ZZ Top?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. So, this is not my front man. Total score 35.9.
35.9. So you came in
Yeah.
below me. Wow. Okay, Lisa, will you please add up those scores and tell us where Billy lands on the Violent Vinyl leaderboard?
Sure. Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, circa 1983, gets a total score of 55.5.
Pitiful.
55.5. And landing him at number 17 on the chart, just below Steve Whiteman from Kix, and just above, this is ridiculous, just above Gary Sharon.
Poor Gary Sharon.
Poor Gary, that's wrong.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
I think that Billy Gibbons looks cooler. Okay.
Bring
So,
on the letters. Bring on the letters.
man, we
of
went to
hate.
fucking Plain Ridge Casino last night. It's Dylan's birthday. So we went to the casino last
Happy
night.
birthday.
And
Happy birthday, Dylan.
oh, happy birthday, Dylan. She'll be editing the show, so she'll hear that. And we saw a Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac cover band. They were fucking awful. Oh my God, this lady couldn't sing at all. The background vocals were terrible. I wanted to just leave the casino. I was like, how?
Last time I was at Plainville, it was like a New Year's Eve show many years ago. There was a Prince cover band that was fabulous.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh, they were amazing. They have a nice stage there too.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little casino.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, this band was a fucking train wreck, man. I was actually embarrassed for them. Like me and Dylan were both like, oh my God, this sounds nothing like Fleetwood Mac. Okay, so there you go. I'm sorry, Gary Sharon. That's the way it goes. Let's get into the tracks. Track number 1, Give Me All Your Lovin'. So it was weird. I thought this album devolved from a production standpoint as it went on, but right away the recording production on this song is super clean, and the song sounded great. And it was funny because when I put the album on, I knew nothing about the drum machine or anything. I just put the album on, and immediately I knew it was a drum machine. I was like, uh-oh, what is this? So I went on, the Google machine, and I said, who played drums on Eliminator? And, it did say Beard, but it said it was also a mix of Lynn drums. And I was like, oh, fuck. So then I was like, what songs? And it told me which songs, and this was one of them. I knew it. And I hate it. I'm not a fan of drum machines in a big studio album. Just don't do it. The bass is great, and the guitar sound is great on this song. Now for the song. I mean, it's got a great chorus. It's got super catchy lyrics, but it's got no bridge. And that's so weird. There's no bridge to connect the verses to the choruses. And this is kind of their formula on this album. There really aren't almost any bridges on the album. Usually I don't care for this writing technique, and I don't care for this kind of arrangement because it starts getting really simple and kind of repetitive. But this transition works really well for me. Like this verse goes into this chorus like seamlessly, and it really sets it up well. So I give it a pass. We get a really cool solo section in this song. These are not blistering guitar solos on this album, but Billy is a decent Southern rock guitar player, and not good like Leonard Skinner, or the Eagles. Like he's not that kind of a player. He's not like really a super technical player. But he does have that kind of like flavor, sort of like that guitar players maybe like Jimi Hendrix in the day, where you heard him play and you just said, "Oh, that's Jimi Hendrix." Like I know that. Like he uses like techniques like, and I'm talking about Jimmy, like double stops and stuff that really define his signature sound. And Billy Gibbons does the same thing. He's got an unmistakably recognizable guitar sound, and he has an unmistakable recognizable way of playing guitar. And sometimes it can start to feel a little repetitive, especially when he's writing songs like on an album like this, where you start hearing the same riffs coming up over and over and over again. And, you get the same with Jimi Hendrix. The only difference is I thought Jimi Hendrix's style and taste was just a lot better, so I don't know. It's good. I love the song. This is a great song. Dave.
Sharp and very danceable drum beat. This ain't Joe Daddy's blues.
Oh.
Great chorus, very easy to catch and sing along to. This was the first single off the album. It reached number 37 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart and reached number 10 on the UK singles chart. The video features the Eliminator car and a trio of models. It was directed by filmmaker Tim Newman, cousin of singer and songwriter Randy Newman. Tim also directed the videos for Sharp Dressed Man and Legs. In this one, the band plays at a gas station while the models sexually harass the boy attendant. The band throws him the keys to take the car and the girls for a spin.
Sweaty, dirty kid.
The ladies drop him off at the station, and he wakes up under the car he was working on, having a falling asleep and dreaming. He then finds the ZZ Top keys next to him, remembers the dream at the same time the car speeds by on the highway. So kind of, filled with cliches a little bit, but, it's fun. Really cool guitar tone. The synth and effects add a different dimension to this kind of music that is not often seen. Perfect pop crossover song for them. Great choice for a lead-off single, too.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Lisa, you can't hate this song.
I don't hate this song.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate this song.
I'm going to talk you up.
I remember this song. I didn't remember the drum opening of this song. Like, I didn't remember how the song opened. And I didn't remember how synthy those drums sounded, right? That was not in my memories either, but my goodness. But that's what I like. So, I know you guys don't like synth drums in general, especially on a blues rock song.
Yeah, no, I do like synth drums. I just don't like them here on this album. I want them like Depeche Mode or something. It's fine.
Well, I thought this was kind of
Duran, give me some.
Yeah. So you get a nice hook on this song. The chorus is easy to remember and sing to. The guitar solo is nice, it's clean, it's bluesy, but it sounds like something someone could play with very little guitar experience.
I agree.
No virtuosos here.
I would know.
Yeah. Song is structured well, with the musical bridge after the solo leading into the next verse. Lyrics are a little too simple for me and don't tell much of a story. I do like the musical breakdown before what is basically the second guitar solo, or the play out, whatever you want to call it, where you can really clearly hear the tambourine. Not something easy to produce into a song, but it's cleanly, discernible in the production. There's a nice percussion breakdown. Again, synthy. I do like the little guitar riff that repeats into the fade out. I like this song because it's easy to remember. It's good to sing along to while you're drinking a beer in a dirty hole in the wall bar. But for me, it's simply not my style of music at all. It lacks an edge. It lacks a story. It lacks an identity. It just sounds like generic rock. Of course, we all remember the video. And the guys doing their cringy coordinated circle point gimmick, which I hate with a passion.
No,
yeah.
Cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, and then we get some random girls coming out of a car. They can't seem to decide if they're soccer moms or supermodels. The girls are beautiful, by the way. Let me just say that. But I think they didn't style them very well in this particular video. You get a very young girl, young boy compared to the girls, right? He seems like a kid, right? And basically the band just gives the car and the girls to the little boy, which is super cringy. Here, have 3 girls. Gross. Okay? Gross.
It's every 17-year-old dude's fantasy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's the point of the video.
Gross.
That's the point of the video.
And so he gets into the car with the girls and he drives away, and there's more pointing. And then there's more pointing. And then there's more pointing. Stop with the pointing. Like,
What's the point?
yeah. So let's talk about the girls in the video. Jenna Tomasino, who eventually would marry Kehoe. So she's Jenna Kehoe. She's from Wisconsin, and she was Playmate of the Month, November 1980, and is one of the original cast members of the reality show Real Housewives of Orange County. Danielle Arand is from Nice, France. She is now an adjunct professor at San Diego City College teaching French. And
Holy.
Ooh
Kimberly,
la la.
yeah.
Ah.
And Kimberly Herron, another Playboy Playmate of the Month, March 1981. She also graced the covers of both the September 82 and September 83 issues of Playboy.
Ooh.
She was in Ghostbusters. She was the girl in the erotic dream that Dan Aykroyd had in Ghostbusters.
Oh.
She was in Romancing the Stone and Beverly Hills Cop 2. Herron did pass away at the age of 65 on October 28th, 2022. The little boy, gas station attendant Peter Tram. He was very young in the video. He's from Stuttgart, Germany. He was an actor known for Footloose. He was
Oh.
Kevin Bacon's stunt double in
No
Footloose.
shit.
Yep. He was also a dancer in Staying Alive and Can't Stop the Music. He also passed away in 1991.
Oh, no.
Oh, you want to hear a funny fucking episode of Hey, did you ever see that movie? Go listen to Staying Alive. You will fucking die, okay?
I did listen to that one. It was amazing.
Holy shit. Okay, so that's it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Track number 2, Got Me Under Pressure. So this one we're going to get some real drums, but unfortunately they're laced with this Lind drum machine, and I was wishing it was all going to be Frank Beard, but it wasn't. The drums are very boring and stiff and repetitive, and there is a fucking drum fill that is this electronic drum fill on this track that is, it's unforgivable. It's unforgivably bad. It's like, it's like, I was just like, what? I'm like, dude, how did this get through?
The built-in one when you press the button,
Yes.
and that's the demo
Yes.
fill.
I almost felt like I could see Billy Gibbons with his tongue in his cheek going like, did you catch it? Like, yeah, I caught it, Billy. I do love the lyrics in the verses on this track. And of course, it's got an amazing chorus. The solo, it's very simple and it's a little janky. And again, you know, he misses any scales or any runs in his playing. He's all fucking just melodic and chords and stuff. And I say this with all the respect in the world because it's really how I play guitar too. You know, I'm not full of a bunch of great runs and fucking licks. I just do what I can. I feel like he does the same. Again, we're going to get zero bridge on this song. And these arrangements for me are just a little bit uninspired. And, you know, it's fine. It's ZZ Top. And, you know, usually they're pulling it off pretty good. But I do love this song too. So that's 2 in a row. Dave.
Now we're turning up the heat. Even more synths calling back and forth with the guitar. Lots of rhyming lyrics about a freaky lady. Tasty, choppy guitar solo. The repeating guitar lick in the chorus is really good. I like that. When playing this one live, Billy and Dusty would alternate lead vocals throughout the song.
This is another one of those albums where I think the placing of the songs was just, they dropped the ball. It was a mistake. You can't front load an album like this, man. You're front loading this album. The first half of it is great. And then the second half is the second half.
Falls off a little bit.
A little bit. Hello. Lisa, talk about the track.
I don't remember this song at all. Like at all.
Yeah.
I didn't have the album. Fair enough. I'm sure it wasn't played on the radio. This is a complete blank to me. Billy Gibbons and Lyndon Hudson, the engineer and songwriter, wrote this song and created and recorded a demo of this all in one afternoon, with the bass recorded as synth as well, obviously, as some of the drums. It definitely sounds like a song thrown together in one afternoon, not out of passion, but out of necessity to get something to fit on the album. We've got a very dated guitar and drum opening that places it firmly in the early 80s that didn't age well at all. I don't like how his voice sounds in this. It sounds like he's straining or he's like forcing a weird accent. I can't figure out what it is. It's not good. The lyrics on this song are simple, but they're fun, right? I really like that. There's zero hook here, but I do like how they describe the woman throughout the song and it's how it's timed. It just needs a hook. The guitar solo seems like someone is just noodling around in a jam room and doesn't know anyone else is listening.
Oh shit.
Um,
Sheesh.
It
there's
is a little janky.
yeah, there's a nice percussion bridge going into the final verse. I do like that. I think actually in this case it might be real drums. So yeah, but it doesn't make up for how bored I was with the lack of a hook in this song. In this song, his voice reminds me, in a bad way, of Huey Lewis. That's what I hear. No dynamic notes, nothing that makes it stand out. I'd not be able to, for this song, I would not be able to pick out his voice from a lineup of vocalists. It's just very generic. I couldn't wait for this one to end. Finally, the second guitar solo started, and I was like, oh, good, at least it's the play out of the song. It's almost over. No, there's still 25% of the song left because it was a huge, long play out at the end of the song. I will say, though, that the second guitar solo was much better and a lot more dynamic and much more interesting to listen to.
Lisa, is there a single stick ending on this album?
No, everything seemed to be like a guitar solo play out.
It's fucking brutal. It's fucking brutal. By the end, I have it written in my things. Another Billy Gibbons fucking signature fade out guitar solo.
Right.
It's fucking brutal. No, that song was a minor hit for them back in the 80s. I'm surprised you never heard it.
Never heard it, yeah.
I have to disagree. I really like that song. Under Pressure is fucking kick ass. Dave, you love that song, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Track 3, Sharp Dressed Man. If you haven't heard this one, then welcome to Earth. But here's the problem again. Okay, so we're back to the Lynn drum machine 100% here. What a fucking mistake, man. This song would kick so much ass with a real drummer. This Lynn drum machine too, I mean, I know it was the big drum machine back in the day. They're very expensive. It's supposed to sound really good. It doesn't. It sounds gravelly, and man, it's like they're just not there. It doesn't even sound good for a Lynn drum machine. Like it sounds like it's produced like wrong. Like it's gravelly and poppy and just kind of crunchy and weird. And I just don't like it. But the song is killer with super strong lyrics and a viciously catchy chorus. I mean, this is how you write a radio hit. And then you fucking wrap it up with that video and it's like cha-ching, gets you a ranch in fucking Texas. Billy plays some nice leads, but they do get a little boring, as good as they are. I love the song, but his dynamics are just missing, man. His solos just become like a warm hum of Billy Gibbons playing the same licks over and over. And even at that, with having no licks and runs and scales and blues scales, he starts repeating the same kind of boring riffs over and over again in the thing. And it's just, I don't know, man. For a Southern blues guitar player, I need more. I just need more. If you're not going to shred or rip like even a good like blues lead guitar player would do, Eric Clapton. I mean, take your choice. You better have some like really tasty, emotional, feeling Southern licks, and he's just missing them here. I'm not getting the feels from these solos. Dave.
This one was the second single off the album. More dancey beats, synth, and multi-layered guitars. There's a great lyric in there. Cufflinks, stick pin, when I step out, I'm gonna do you in. Super cool solo with some slide guitar in it. This guitar solo was chosen by Guitar World magazine as number 43 in their 2009 list of the 50 greatest guitar solos.
Really?
I like this one. It's a good one.
Nonsense.
The video is pretty similar to the other one. Same car and a trio of girls. This time the lowly dude is a parking attendant at a fancy event. After the boys slide him the keys, the girls take him away and return with the guy transformed into a high roller who is now the biggest VIP at the event. ZZ Top is the champion of the average Joe, or at least that's the message of the video. One other fun thing, if you like this song, you can go look up Crazy Drummer, Sharp Dressed Man, ZZ Top. There's a gentleman named Steve Moore in the band Rick Kay and the All-Nighters, and he's this is a gentleman playing drums in a cover band, and he plays some crazy drums with stick flipping and all kinds of stuff you may not have seen before playing this song, and it's a good time to watch.
Dave, the fucking mechanic in the fucking last song in that last video, that's like a young John Connor, right?
Right.
Fucking Terminator.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It always reminded me of the guy who fucking played John Connor. It was like, is that John Connor? Young John Connor? Uh, Lisa, what you think?
Uh,
Good song. I mean, you know this one.
Obviously, I remember this song. This song has a great hook. It's probably one of their most memorable songs to me, at least. We have a nice guitar riff opening. Um, the song sounds a bit thin to me. So, if you remember with some of the previous albums we did, particularly like LA Guns and definitely like Skid Row, where you have dual guitars, this particular song sounds really, really thin. And I'm sure it's intentional, but just after hearing some of those thicker songs of kind of the same era of music, even Aerosmith, right, which I guess was kind of earlier in that, it just seems like they needed another guitar in this song. Maybe
They needed
even
more
just
tracks.
maybe just for this song, even.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So, but the hook cannot be denied, right? They really had something when they wrote that hook, right? I like even how there's like a dead air moment in the song where they bring down all the instruments and it's pretty much just the gritty vocals for the hook, and it's really great. They knew they had it with this.
Oh, yeah.
The guitar solo sounds like something that should be playing behind a movie scene where something interesting is happening, because nothing interesting is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
The arrangement of the song is the same as the previous two songs on the album, which is getting a little tedious, but this song needed this arrangement, so that's fair. The lyrics are clever, if not a little bit simple. We definitely have a story here. This should have led to an absolutely epic video, right? They really set up a story here that could have just been amazing. But again, we get the Eliminator car with the girls. We have a man getting dressed in a tuxedo, but he's apparently not a VIP. He's maybe a valet, I think, at this event. Parking attendant. But the girls come in, and they're dressed up in 80s gear. And I feel like, again, they missed the styling on the women. They should have been more appropriate for the event. Maybe like black tie, but like 80s wild black tie is kind of what
Mhm.
they should have. But they came out in like tank tops or something. And don't get me wrong, they were freaking hot, totally hot. But I feel like, again, they missed like the styling on these beautiful women.
They were invading the event.
Yeah.
And the ZZ Top girls do what they want and they wear what they want.
Yeah,
But
I
they
mean,
should have been like maybe like concert clothes or something like
yeah,
that.
like they were ready to work out with like an aerobics
Like an
class.
aerobics,
Like,
yeah, that's
let's
what it
get
seemed like.
physical,
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
Shit.
So the band again passes the keys to the guy and is like, "Here, have these women again." Yuck.
Mm.
Is the band like their pimp or something? Is that
Giving
what's
away
happening
ladies.
here? Yeah. So we get more freaking pointing in this video, which stop with the gimmick that we've had enough. And now we have the valet comes back as the VIP, the sharp dressed man, I suppose, but nobody in this video particularly looks sharp dressed. But the video is shot really nice. It's shot almost like you would think a movie would be shot. It has kind of those movie filters over it. It seems to, there's a really strong director of all of three of these videos that kind of makes them very movie-like. But to me, it's just we've got women as property being given away to whoever the band decides they're going to be given away to that night. It's freaking gross. And yeah.
You get a lady, and you get a
Right?
lady, and you
Ew.
get a lady.
I don't think in this one that the ladies were doing anything. They were just magically transforming the guy
Uh-huh.
into a VIP.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what all the little boys watching this video thought too.
Oh, my
So
God.
Yeah.
All right, track number 4. I Need You Tonight. So this might be my favorite song on the album. You gotta wait till the end to find out, though. I love this track. We get a nice, clean drum track from Frank. Overall, the track has this nice kind of like smoky, sensual feel, right? It's like Miami Vice. It's just, it feels good. Has a really nice arrangement with this kind of like hybrid chorus bridge thing. And Billy delivers some really great vocals, especially on the line in particular. I'm calling for someone like you. Oh, I love that. Oh, it's so good. It's produced up so good. And he's really singing like at the top of what he can deliver. And I love it. That is such a great hook in that one line. And I love the lead guitars on this track. This is like really good ZZ Top for me. Dave.
Got some blues with a metallic edge here. Aside from the modern sounds, this is just like their older material.
Yes.
Classic blues underneath all the 80s icing. Lots of echo on the guitar solo. I like it.
Yeah, Dave, you hit the nail on the head. This is like old ZZ Top. This is good stuff for me.
Yeah.
Lisa, you just haven't heard enough of classic vintage ZZ Top to
Maybe.
appreciate this band. Go.
All I thought of when I read the title was the absolute banger from In Excess of the same name that is like one of the sexiest songs ever written.
It is.
And I was like, oh, I hope that they at least like came partway up to what In Excess did with this title. Yeah, they didn't. I read the lyrics on this one. I shouldn't have read them first. Sometimes I read them first, sometimes I don't. I should not have read this first. There's so much rhyming. An old man saying baby. And I sang old man because he looked like an old man. He wasn't an old man, but he looked like an old man. And in my head, he was an old man, right? Only Phil Lewis could do the song and get a pass from me. So some of the lyrics: outside my window, it's lonely and cold. Inside my heart, there's a fire burning out of control. Come on. Come on. Oh, God, just brutal.
That's okay. I've written worse.
Oh, shit.
So I do like the guitar opening on this song. It feels like synth to me, or at least there's synth underneath it. If it's, yeah. I don't know. I feel like, and again, we've got the thin sound. They need a rhythm guitar in here. And then the beat comes in and it feels like a bad 80s nighttime drama theme song. And what in the world is the high notes in the center of the verse? They're so bad. He can't hit the high note. If you can't hit the high note, don't write the high note into the song, right? I don't hear a hook here. We do get a guitar solo. That's all I have to say. There is a guitar solo. There's no adjective here. It's just that there's one there. The song is really long. There's like an instrumental, almost like an instrumental interlude. I'm looking for a movie for this to be playing on top of. And to be fair, it would work great on like behind a movie where stuff is happening. The solo warms up about halfway through, almost like he gets comfortable and really starts just improvising a bit. But as soon as that happens, the solo ends, and that kind of makes me upset. And what happens again when he hits the title line kind of near the end and the notes go down instead of up, and he stumbles over it completely? Why did nobody hear this? This album seems really well produced. Most of it is clear and crisp. You can hear the instruments, even the subtle little percussion instruments underneath it, but they allowed the vocals to be packaged like this. I remember we did Ozzy, a month or so ago, and there were a few spots where his voice cracked a bit, and they left it in, and that was like a nice artistic choice. It made it sound a little live, gave it a little emotion, but this is just like, push, get this guy some auto-tune or something. Ugh.
Dude, here's the problem, right? So live emotion. So you're getting that on the Ozzy album. It's fine because the album sounded fucking kick-ass rock and roll.
Yeah.
But you're going to try and give us this fucking like weird sterile like drum machine synth thing where they're trying to clean this thing up. And I read that they were trying to make sure, there was perfect time and all this stuff. But then you're going to leave like these janky vocals and you're going to leave some of these weird janky guitar parts too. And he's playing solos. Like I can hear him make a mistake in the studio and they just fucking leave it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. I got the 6, track number 5. So right away, I did enjoy the up tempo on this one. Like it noticeably was up tempo and it felt good. Unfortunately, the lyrics are super strange. Give me your 6 and then I'll give you my 9. I'm going to pass on that party. Okay. I don't want to be there. I don't want to know who's going first. I just know I don't want any part of it. There's a big solo on this one, but Billy's solos are built completely on melody and chords and lack any scales or runs. I've said it before. No single note licks, nothing, which limits him, in my opinion, and limits this solo, in my opinion. The track is just okay, and the solo, it's good. He's a good player, but it's just so limited. Dave.
Yeah, we're getting some blood pumping again after the last song being a little bit slower tempo. The beginning almost sounds like an AC/DC riff to me. The drum machine hasn't really bothered me yet on this album until here. You know, it's pretty dry in the beginning, and then you get that really fake snare coming in. I would have liked to have heard some more real drums here, and then I also quoted the "I got the 6, give me your 9." What does that mean?
fuck,
Yeah.
The song's okay, you know, not quite up to the level of the others so far.
Whew. Lisa, what did you think?
So I like that there's an up-tempo song as the last song for this side of the album, especially after that mess of a last song. This one seems so much more raw, and the vocals are completely different. Is this still Billy singing?
No, this is Dusty.
Okay.
singing.
Yes.
I like this vocal. This is great. I like this vocal tone. It's so different than the others. Thank goodness this is the guy that should have been singing all the songs. There's a nice guitar riff on this song. The production again is still a little thin. I'd like maybe something behind it, and I don't know, rhythm guitar or a thicker synth. I don't know, something needed to be behind it. The lyric delivery with the nice vocals was great. It was fast and it was fun. The guitar solo is short and very effective. I'm really glad I listened to this song before I read the lyrics. I was trying to figure out the title, so I thought it was like, the military has this saying, watch your 6. And I thought it was something to do with that, like watch your back. But that's not what it is. So we
Get
get
outta
some
here.
lyrics. Slow hand on the clock. I'm sitting here like a rock. I'm feeling so abnormal. Pictures in the magazines. All my thoughts so obscene. Cover up that centerfold. Oh my God. These guys are, in my head, they're like 60. They're obviously not. They're like younger, but I don't want to hear about that. I
Oh
don't
my
want to hear
God.
about that from these guys. I like the guitar play out. We did get a stick ending on this one, to be
Oh,
fair.
shit. That's right.
Yeah, if it weren't for the lyrics, I would have loved this song.
Me too.
This is great. It's still the same arrangement as the other songs, but there's something completely different about this one, and it probably is the vocals for me 1,000 times better.
Of course. Well, so here's the thing. Yes, he's technically a better singer than Billy Gibbons, of course. And the problem is without Billy Gibbons singing, it's not ZZ Top anymore.
Yeah.
So you like another band.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have recognized this if you put this in front of me and said, "Who is this?" I would have been like, "I don't know," and I certainly wouldn't have pulled it as a ZZ Top song. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah, for all Billy's shortcomings, I mean, his voice and his guitar sound and style are beyond recognizable, and it's really the charm of ZZ Top. So either you love it and you're a ZZ Top fan, or you don't. Okay, so that ends side A. Now we go on to the segment of the show. Should they have made it, Dave? Should they have made it? Here we go. So Rock City Angels, Teenage Lipstick Boys. Well, this pick just missed the spirit of the arrangement of the whole song, the whole segment, because the Rock City Angels did in fact make it. They got their shot. Their debut album was released on Geffen Records, and they had a video on MTV. Fun fact, Johnny Depp was actually the original guitar player from this band when they were in Florida. How about that? Before he decided he wanted to be an actor. So the answer to the question is yes. They had what it took to get their foot in the door. They had their chance. They got their record deal. They made their video. As for the song, I thought it was pretty cool. It definitely has that mid-80s, New York City, Greenwich Village vibe that I love. Of course, a little whack, but whatever. I'd give this one 69.7 watts. But I have to ask, is it fair to rank these guys against unsigned bands like the Glamour Punks and some of these other, bands that we've been doing? I don't think so.
I think it's fine.
Okay, Dave thinks it's fine. So there you go. That's my thought on that band. Dave, what do you think?
All right. So there is not a ton of info out there on this band. Much of the following came from an article on loudersound.com from our buddy Sleaze Grinder. This band was founded in 1981, originally known as the Abusers. After changing their name to Rock City Angels, by the mid-'80s, they were ready to split up. At the time, they secured a recording contract with New Renaissance Records and moved to L.A. I read it was around this time that this song, Teenage Lipstick Boys, was recorded. Johnny Depp had joined the band on rhythm guitar around this time, also in '87. A few of the guys already knew him from back in Florida when his band, The Kids, had played with the Abusers on shows. But the rest of the band thought he was just another actor, playing rock star. He won the band over eventually, but then in less than a year, he took off to pursue acting full time.
Good move.
Yeah, it kind of worked out for him. Soon after, Geffen Records bought out their contract and they released the solid album Young Man's Blues in 1988. But unfortunately, it was not easy to find in stores, and they never put out a second Geffen album. Rumors exist that the band was maybe a tax write-off for Geffen, or more sensationally, was kneecapped to make more room for the rising Guns N' Roses. Unfortunately, singer Bobby Durango passed in 2012. But this album with Teenage Lipstick Boys was recorded in '86, '87, was released by New Renaissance Records in 1999. Definitely some New York Dolls, Dead Boys punk vibes. This was around the same time Poison was coming out and predated Pretty Boy Floyd's first album by a couple of years. I love the vibe and attitude of this song. The performance is okay. The song may have benefited from a little more production help. Unfortunately, they were not going to use this one on their major label debut, when at the time they were going for a little more, blues rock kind of sound. Also, a little before their time, a couple of years before the Black Crowes got to that blues rock sound. The glam version, as well as the blues rock version of the Rock City Angels, should have made it bigger. I think they deserved better. I'm giving this song an 89.
Oh, 89. Wow.
Yeah.
Those are some high marks. I agree. They're a good band. I like Johnny Depp as a guitar player. I never had a problem. But I think Johnny Depp looks so fucking cool, man, when he's playing guitar.
Plays with the Hollywood Vampires.
Yeah. He looks like
he knows what he's doing.
Looks like Captain Jack up there. I love him.
That's right.
Lisa, what'd you think of the band?
I think this was a fair choice, even though they did technically have an album. So obviously we said Johnny Depp was a former member for like a minute in this band. This would have been before his casting on 21 Jump Street. His casting on 21 Jump Street actually was the reason that he left the band. But this would have been after his appearance in Nightmare on Elm Street and in Platoon. So he already was an actor.
Wow.
Yeah. So band member Ringo Jukes remembers Johnny being introduced as an actor, and they didn't want to deal with another actor because apparently they had quite a few actors come through their band.
Hollywood.
Yeah. They tried him out and they really liked his style, and saying he played some really out there stuff on his guitar. But when Hollywood came calling, 21 Jump Street came calling, he just kind of blew out the door. Junk's comment on that was that he was sad for Johnny because if you were going to be that big of a star, you could never go back to music. And he couldn't have been more wrong because, as we know, Johnny has continued to play music throughout his career with his band P, and also obviously with the Hollywood Vampires, owning the Viper Club, the Viper Room in Hollywood. Playing on other bands' albums like Oasis, his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend Vanessa Paradise's album. He played with Iggy Pop, the Chili Peppers, and Aerosmith. I mean, you can't even list how many people he's played with. So obviously he did just fine as a musician.
Yeah.
So the band had their album out on a record label called Renaissance Records. Now they were owned by a woman named Anne Boleyn. She is the lead singer of Hellion, the metal band Hellion. She also eventually would go on to get a Juris Doctorate degree and fight against sexism in the music industry, trying to get basically equal pay for female artists. She claims that she had put the album out on her label, and she claims that someone was trying to kill her. Over this band. Basically, she was being run off the road and all of that, and eventually just sold all of the rights over to Geffen for $33,000. Geffen expected this band to be their next big thing. After this album, they started recording their second album. So they recorded some demos. And by some demos, I mean they recorded 80 songs, 80.
Wow.
Every single one of them rejected by Geffen. They went to London to record with Thin Lizzy guitarist Brian Robertson, and all of those songs were also rejected by Geffen. Ultimately, they would have a total of 3 albums and a total over time of 21 members, with Johnny Depp being the only one of any fame. So this song, the arrangement is a little weird to me. Like, all of the verses contain the hook. Like, it's like repeated almost from the second line of the song. Like, I don't know if I liked that too much. But I did love the guitar playing. This was the highlight of the song for me. It was so sleazy, and it's no virtuoso here, but it's exactly the style you want for this style of music. There's a part in the bridge where they bring the music down, and there's this like gang vocal that comes in. That arrangement is fantastic, but these backup singers are really, really bad.
Yeah.
Right?
It's janky.
If they had good background singers, that would have been just a killer part of the song.
Right. But it's the concept and the idea that's really cool. And, unfortunately their execution of it on this recording is not quite there.
Yeah. And
they should have got the background singers that did the Pretty Boy Floyd album.
That's what I wrote down.
Yes.
I wrote that down. I said the Pretty Boy Floyd background singers would have been perfect for this section. They really would have been. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely glam punk. It reminds me a little bit of my pick, Glamour Punks from last week, a little bit of that type of music that was on the strip at the time. I actually think this was pretty good, and I did listen to kind of the rest of the album as well. I'm giving them an 89.1. I'm going higher than Dave.
Wow.
And definitely they should have made it.
Holy shit. They did make it. Okay, so there you go.
I think if we're going to judge about who made it or who didn't, I think if you were to take a group of people who were alive and aware between the mid 80s and the early 90s, and you said to them, do you know who this band is? And they say no, then they didn't really make it.
If I was signed to Geffen Records in the day, then I made it. That's it. If you had a record deal with Geffen Records, you made it. That's it. If you weren't good enough to become mainstream, then that's on you or the label. But if you got signed to Geffen Records, you made. Dave, ever been signed to Geffen Records?
I have not.
Neither have I. So
not yet.
Yeah. So there you go. I think if the band's been signed to a major record label, we should probably avoid it going forward. Okay. So there you go.
Should we score it?
Yeah, score it up. Let's find out where she lands.
All right. On the Should I Have Made It chart, Rock City Angels with their single Teenage Lipstick Boys got a total score of 82.6, which does put them at number 1 above the Glamour Punks.
Well,
and the answer, obviously, we all think they should have made it.
I think the fact that they got the score they did shows that they were a ringer in this contest. Yeah, okay, we let Mike Tyson into like a backyard fucking beef. Okay, there you go. So track number 6 on the album. Let's flip this bitch over and slap it on the ass and get it out of here. Legs. Great song, but unfortunately, back to the drum machine. So apparently they really wanted to use this drum machine on what they considered the big 3 on the album because they wanted these songs to sound slick, but it did the opposite. It just made them sound stiff. As much as I love the tune, and I love this song, I hate these drums. We get this weird little like transistor sound going on if you're listening to this like with earbuds on. It was super distracting to me. Musically, it's a weird production, really. I mean, it is. Just listen to it with your earbuds in and listen to what's going on. It's a strange production. The guitar track in the verses are so herky-jerky and stiff and weird. I wish I didn't break this down for this podcast because I remember just loving the way this song sounded, but I didn't hear. Vocals and lyrics, hit single material. This is how you write a moneymaker, a cash cow for the radio. Incredible. Billy delivers on one of his most recognizable guitar solos of all time. It's great. And love the song. Who doesn't? Dave?
This one was the 4th single released from the album, more than a year after the album came out. It reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the U.S., their highest charting single on the pop charts. And the dance mix version of the song peaked at number 13 on the dance charts. I have that. it's kind of a little more sparse arrangement and more, just breaks of the drum machine. And
I love that. Do you have it on vinyl?
I do not, just
Okay.
in my iTunes.
Okay.
Director Tim Newman returns on this video, having set up a deal tied to the album's sales, earning him more money than he expected. The video won the 1984 MTV Music Video Award for Best Group Video. The main character this time is a girl just trying to get through her workday while being treated badly by her coworkers and people in the diner where she's picking up lunch. The Eliminator gals show up and put all the yokels in their place and give our main character a makeover. Meanwhile, the band is playing fuzzy, spinning Dean guitars. Now the main girl went back to the burger place and picked up the boy she liked, and they ride off into the sunset. ZZ Top's work is done. They also cut a multi-million-dollar deal in 1988 for the song to be used in a series of TV commercials for Legs pantyhose, the ones that came in the plastic egg.
It's awesome. You get a girl, and you get a girl, and Lisa, you get a girl. Go ahead, talk about
And
it.
you get some pantyhose and an egg.
Oh, God.
Both eggs.
So, I mean, you can't not know this song. Everybody knows this song. I think I hate this song so much because I had really long, awkward legs back in the day, and people used to sing this song to me, and I frickin' hated it.
Holy shit!
So
giraffe.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was like. Yes. So we have this sort of joke, we being women have this sort of joke. What inanimate object are men comparing women to now? Or what body part has a woman been reduced to now? So this song kind of is the epitome of that garbage. On top of calling a woman baby, they call her baby, they call her girl. Not a girl, Janet, not a girl. Okay. The lyrics fit the song musically, but are god-awful, especially using the word fanny, which is like absolutely bizarre to me, and forcing it to rhyme with the word panties. It doesn't rhyme with panties. You are not Take Me Down. You can't make this work. It's awful. It's like a bad haiku. And you know, when you said, I think I remember liking this back in the day, I remember listening to this on the radio and not thinking that it was awful. But that's because when he sings, you can't understand what he's saying anyway, so it doesn't matter what the lyrics are, right? So I remember this song being more rock, more dirty, but the song is really poppy and synthy. Like very, you said it landed on the dance charts, which makes sense.
Well, yeah, there is a separate dance mix of this, but one thing I actually forgot to bring up, there's the original album version of this, which is a little bit slower and a little bit more guitar licks in there, but they also have a different mix that they used for the video and like the greatest hits album, where it's a little bit speeded up. I think they may have pitched it up a little bit, and there's a different mix. They took out some of the guitar licks and it's a little bit slicker, which I'm not really crazy about that version of the mix. I like the original album version, but yeah, it's I guess just trying to make it even slicker for the pop mix.
And I mean, that's what they were going for, really, right? So like my comment is like, I do like the synth in this song. It's very, it's perfect for the time frame, very like Miami Vice almost. And this was how you got a song on the radio back then. So I get it, I get it. Obviously, I remember the video. The mousy girl with glasses is given a hard time, but the big bad bikers and all the people in the stores, and she gets harassed until she's rescued by the Eliminator girls, who finally come in styled cool, right? Yeah. They look freaking great in this video, and I loved their outfits. I was really young when this came out, but even so, my mom bought me the white outfit with the slashes in the sweatshirts. I mean, do you remember that? With like, she had like cuts in the sweatshirts, the girl in the white.
Where there's like a different color material underneath, or
pink
something.
underneath, or purple.
And the thigh-high white boots. My mom bought me that outfit. I was really young, and it looked so freaking cool.
Were you like freaking 11?
Yeah, I was younger than that. Yeah,
oh shit!
And I loved it so much. It was like my favorite. But yeah, the girls look great in this video. Finally, So they give her a makeover a la like the ugly duckling story. Basically, they take off her glasses and make her shake her hair out, and suddenly she's beautiful.
That's how you do it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. But they do give her the little girl outfit where they put the pink shoes with the frilly socks on her and like a little girl dress, which is kind of weird for me. But whatever. She got her revenge. Shout out to the white fur guitars that spin around without doing the over the shoulder spin, which is like super cool. We get a coordinated wave at the end. At least it's not the point. The band is lurking in the background on all of these videos. They're never the main character. You're never focused on them. There's very little concert footage in any of these videos, right? It's basically like a movie.
I think they wisely considered that you'd rather look at a bunch of girls than a bunch of, ugly bearded guys in their 30s.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah. And kudos to the we'll call it the choosing her outfit scene where the girls are getting undressed and dressed and undressed and dressed, and of course that made the video like huge. I get it. This I think was a better video than the other ones. So
Yeah, good marketing there. They're
good
like,
marketing.
well, we've
Yeah.
got ZZ Top, and then we've got this group of women. Where do you want to go, guys?
Yeah.
Hi, ZZ. When I was 11, my mom told me to get a job.
Yeah, I was younger than that day.
There was no outfit for little Jessie. Track number 7, Thug. So in this one, we get these really, really weird, super, super stereo drums, right? They're in each ear, left to right. And again, it was very distracting to me. My favorite part of the song, the lyrics in the verses, but overall, the song is very disjointed. The arrangement doesn't work for me. It almost sounds like two different songs that are kind of like glued together and it just didn't really work. The chorus in this song completely anemic, and that fade ending was just fucking brutal on this one. I did not care for this song. Dave.
Yes, this song was the one solely, I guess, written by engineer Lyndon Hudson and apparently just kind of appropriated by the band, and we're going to put this on the album. And this was the one that he sued over and got a settlement for.
This song got him $600,000?
I believe so. From what I read, that's how I understand it.
Well, they overpaid.
If you check out YouTube user Alleyman444, ALLEYMAN 444, I believe that's Mr. Lyndon Hudson's channel. You can hear some of his demo tapes from this album and more info on how he was maybe not properly credited for his work. Funky, and he actually has some demos where it still has the original bass and drums before they replace them, where you can sort of hear the contrast between that and the final product. Funky electronic drums and some slap bass. The slap bass parts kind of sound like an episode of Seinfeld.
Yes.
The song is fine, but to me, it was not worth stealing and getting sued over. If it was one of the big top 10 hits, I can see the appeal of, let's steal it and sort of pay for it later. But this, why bother? This song is a bass wank fest that might not even be Dusty playing the bass. I feel so lied to.
Yeah,
What the heck?
I thought this bass sound was terrible. Like, I know what they were going for, but they did not achieve it. I did not like this bass sound. It was so fucking thin. It was like, it's like a tapeworm. Lisa.
Wow, I completely disagree with you.
Oh, shit.
So my first comment is, what is happening here? It sounds like a synth pop song, and I get like excited. I'm like, oh my god, synth pop! This is gonna be freaking great. And then the vocals come in and like ruin it completely. But the song itself, it's a deeply synth song. We have heavily affected guitars after each verse. It's finally a different arrangement, the arrangement I've been looking for. We've got storytelling verses. It feels almost like a fusion between like blues in the lyrics, but like post-punk in the music arrangement, and I like it. There isn't a hook per se, other than the guitar breaks kind of are the hook. They jam into the outro with some sustained synth in the background. The bass is super prominent in a good way, and I like it. So many effects in this song, very 80s. And if it was a different singer, I think this would be an amazing song. Love it.
Um, oh, one of our friends, Mr. Pink,
Ah.
old singer of Dave's band, Demon Alley, just texted me saying he really likes my new song. So I was going to
Fantastic.
plug that anyway. So
Yeah.
I just dropped a new song on my YouTube channel called Hot Mess Woman. So go ahead and type that into your YouTube search engine, Hot Mess Woman by Des. Go over to my YouTube channel, check it out.
It's really good.
Subscribe, and share. It's okay.
It's really good.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Jim. I appreciate you. A little shout out to you. I know Jim's got an album in the can he's been working on forever that I'm just dying to hear. I helped him produce up some of the songs pre-production before he went over to the big studio over here in my studio. And I enjoy working with Jim. Nice guy, talented.
Mhm. I
Track
played
number-
some bass on there.
Oh, you played bass on that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dying to hear it. He's not releasing any of it for anybody to hear until he gets the vocals just right. So we waiting, Jim.
I just heard him play an acoustic set. What was it? A couple of weeks ago at Kodo. And he played over an hour at the pancreatic cancer benefit.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
He was
Last weekend.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I believe Dave, the drummer on that, Bobby Chenard's nephew from Billy Squire band, correct?
Yes, Roger.
Roger. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll all be looking forward to hearing that. Track number 8, TV Dinners. So this is one of these tempo problems on the album. The tempo on this song is just too slow. It's just that simple. It just doesn't work. It's almost like somebody like bumped the fucking knob or whatever on the deck and nobody noticed. I do like the lyrics, like 20-year-old turkey in a 30-year-old tin. I laughed out loud. It's funny. It's clever. There's some cool stuff going on in the breaks, and I like the little synth accents in this song. Not on the whole album, but in this song. Song's just okay. Dave.
The song was released as single number 3 off the album. Not sure why.
Yeah.
It's not a clever metaphor. It's literally about TV dinners. The minimal guitar work is pretty good. Song was promoted for radio play in the US and released commercially as a single in the UK. It reached number 38 on the Billboard Top Rock Tracks chart. The video features a guy in his apartment while the band plays on TV screens. He's making a TV dinner, and a claymation gremlin emerges from the dinner. It's an odd video. It's okay. It's kind of weird.
Lisa.
Oh, where did they get the name for this song? Like, seriously. All right, so it's immediately a blues song. Prominent synth in here. I definitely hear that this is a ZZ Top song, a ZZ Top arrangement. Sounds almost exactly like Sharp Dressed Man to me. Same tempo or something.
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe it's the drum line. I don't know. It seems like they just kind of reused a bunch of stuff. Better vocals on this one. At least he can do like a half scream in here. We get a nice dead air stop that's done really well.
Yeah.
There isn't a structured chorus. We kind of have the same arrangement as the previous song where it's 3 verses and that's it. They do repeat the title over and over, maybe too much, even though it's not technically a hook because it's not, it doesn't catch me or anything. It's almost like they had this cool synth arrangement and they had that dead air stop. And they were like, guys, we just need to throw some lyrics on this. And they looked around the room and they saw a TV dinner and was like, that's good enough. And yeah. So
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Right. So as they say in Chernobyl, 3.7 rotogens, not good, not terrible.
All right. Track number 9, Dirty Dog. You dirty dog. By this track, Billy has completely run out of riffs, and the solos and riffs are starting to blur into each other, and the album is just starting to sound like a big bowl of goulash. I was really getting bored with the album by this time. The lyrics are okay. But the cute little quips and jokes are starting to feel a little bit tired, and we get a solo that's a little bit more inspired on this one in the fade out, but it's definitely not impressive by any means. And I'm really looking for the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Dave.
We're back to the album feel laid down by the hits. I also get a little I Can't Drive 55 vibe from the song. It's pretty similar to Legs. How many versions can we make of the same song? Is that the game we're playing here? It's fine. I mean, it's okay. I think the lyrics are about a cheating lady partner, kind of creative, calling her a dog rather than resorting to calling her a bitch. So good guitar. It's all right.
It's all right. Lisa, you getting bored? Dirty dog.
Oh my God. How funny that you said that, because I was like, oh, look, an up-tempo song, but all the songs start to sound the same and I'm bored, and it's the same chord progressions and I'm bored.
Yes.
No, seriously, is this the same song we've already heard? Like, I'm bored. I also hear Simply Irresistible in this. I think Robert Palmer like ripped this song off for his 1988 hit. I don't know why he would. So the intro to this song, he basically said it's a Dirty Dog song, because we wouldn't know that by listening to the song. He has to tell us that in the first line, which I think is really strange. On the lyrics again, we get baby, we get women are property. I dug your brush and your ass was fine. I dug your jelly and you're mighty mine, but you rubbed it on another guy. I don't like women being compared to dogs or bitches or whatever.
Why?
This is gross. This song is gross.
I agree. Number 10, If I Could Only Flag Her Down. Here's my notes. I'm getting bored. Another song that sounds like ZZ Top with another fade with a Billy Gibson guitar solo. It's a good song, but nothing I need to talk about or hear again. Dave.
Here's some more classic sounding ZZ. This one would sound right at what?
Because that's exactly what I wrote.
That's he said, except like in a bad way, and for you, it's a good way.
Yeah, it sounded good to me. This that's one awesome. Would sound right at home in any of their albums. Rock and guitar solo. I like it.
That was so funny. We had the exact same note with a completely different tone on it. It was amazing. Lisa, how about you?
My first note is, seriously, please make this stop.
Oh, no. Holy shit.
So the lyrics are bad. Well, let's go back to what inanimate object are women being compared to? Let's see. A sweet candy bar. Okay, that's unique. You can hear a blues song like this in any bar, in any city, on any day, in any country. Lots of bands, even local here to Boston, do it just as good without all the money and flash behind them. Let's find a good thing about this song. The corpse screech before the guitar solo is nice, and the solo fits the song well, even though the song is bad. It's interesting until he misses some notes, and then they leave it in. That's all I got.
Oh, it's fine. You know what local Boston band from the day should have made it? There was a great blues band, man, the Royal Pimps. Oh,
I remember them.
So good. They used to rule Narcissus.
Yes.
They had that super, super sexy, amazing singer and fucking Rafe on guitar. He was like LA Guns before LA Guns.
Yeah, they were great.
They were great. Okay, track number 11, the final track on the album. Thank God. Bad Girls. This is my favorite music track on the album. The drums have a more loose feel, a more organic feel. That goes for the whole band. It's a decent ending track with its upbeat live feel, and I like the change heading into the solo. But the song itself is completely forgettable. The end. Dave.
Yeah, I thought the music was great on this one. Billy is really stretching his vocal range to the limit. Mm-hmm. This song should have been sung by Dusty. It would have fit way better in his range. The rhyming is really bad. See the girl dressed in green. She's the one that's a mean machine. Ugh. Yeah. This one would have been better with rewritten lyrics and melody. Kind of a slow end to the album.
These guys aren't great songwriters. These guys wrote a few great songs. I think there's a difference. Lisa.
At least it's a little bit better than some of the other songs. It's blues, but it's good blues, a la Aerosmith, for example. Is he trying to hit Steven Tyler's vocal notes here? Maybe. They're not as high of a register, but at least he isn't comparing a woman to an inanimate object. Lyrics are fun for a blues song. Maybe a little too much rhyming, but it's forgivable in this song. Another long outro, and I think I've finally figured it out. Is ZZ Top like the fish of the rock world? Is that what's happening
Oh,
here? They just
no.
jam at the end of all their songs until somebody stops. Like, ugh. This song I like. It's a better style, and I think now that you said Dusty should have sung it, I totally agree with that. And I think I would have really liked this song if Dusty had sung it. It's an okay finish for a pretty weak album. Again, not my style. I don't like this style of music. I'm trying to find good things in here, and it was difficult. So,
This wasn't that bad. We've trashed bands worse.
yeah.
Unfortunately, you'll never hear about it. Okay, my favorite song. That's the end of the album. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion on ZZ Top Eliminator. I enjoyed talking about it with you too. You always bring tons and tons of great information to the show. Without it, it would just me saying, I think they sound good. Okay, so my favorite song on this album, I'm going to go a little different. I mean, obviously the three big hitters are great songs and I love them all, but I don't want to be obvious. So my favorite song on the album is I Need You Tonight. I really, really love that one section of the song. It's my favorite vocal on the whole album. So for that reason, it's my favorite song. Song I would cut would be Thug because it fucking sucks. I'd remove that Lynn drum machine and Frank Beard from this band. He's a little simple for me. I think Frank Beard is a little bit stiff, just my opinion. And I would replace him with Bill Gibson from the Huey Lewis and the News Band because he is a really great drummer with really great rock and blues feel. And I just think that he would fucking give ZZ Top a punch that it needs. Dave.
Nice call.
Thank you.
Favorite track, Got Me Under Pressure.
Good song.
And I would also cut Thug.
Nice.
Oh, I really like that song.
The lyrics of it aren't bad. It's kind of interesting, but it's just too weird with all the bass solos.
Yeah.
And replacement. Well, as we found out from researching, apparently the bassist and drummer got replaced with electronics, and they were okay with it. Assuming we're talking about the actual band, let's put Frank on vacation. Let's bring in Stuart Copeland from the Police.
Oh, I like that.
It might get weird, but let's see.
I like
It's a good
that.
pick,
Yeah, you're not going to go wrong with that. Got Me Under Pressure, Dave, would probably be my second pick too. I love that song.
Yeah, it's good.
Lisa.
I don't like any song on this album, but if I have to pick one, I'm picking I Got the Six.
Stop with that.
Yeah, it's because of the vocals.
Oh, God. Give me a nine. Oh,
I would like to cut every song on this album and just get rid of it from history, but I can only cut one, so I'm cutting Dirty Dog. Gross, awful lyrics. It's not okay to call a woman a dog in any decade. If I had to replace one member, I can only replace one. I can't just replace all of them. No? Okay.
No.
So we'll replace Frank Beard with Phil Collins. He had a big
Ooh.
red beard in the 1970s.
Nice. Phil Collins, what a great drummer. They'd have lots of electric drums then if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil Collins, so fucking talented, man. That's a guy who
Totally.
could write songs like no one's business. Lisa, Give Me the Six is my favorite song on the album too. Oh, God. Okay, so enough Paul Stanley. Let's do some final thoughts. We'll score it, and that'll be that. So for me, this album has a handful of great songs, but they are recorded with a shitty drum machine. The overall sound and production of the album is a little strange. I wish it was less transistor and electronic and a lot more kick-ass Southern rock and roll. So for me, this album is pushing a mere 69.9 watts. It got some good music on it. Dave.
Okay, this album doesn't quite measure up to what I remember. It is really cruising on the 3 mega hits.
It is.
It's got a handful of solid album tracks and a few that maybe should have been cut. Finding out they basically boned over the guy that helped them make this record and also helped create their 80s sound was not fun. Don't look behind the curtain, kids. Out on the stage, it's all bright lights and sequins, and don't look behind the curtain. Yeah. As well as finding out the other band members' contributions are kind of minimal. Were these guys okay with this because the Brinks truck came rolling in and everybody got paid big time? I don't know. Essentially, we're thinking maybe it's essentially a Billy Gibbons soul album, or so it has been alluded to online, considering how things played out.
Yes.
At the end of the day, there's some real good classics here. Maybe not their most solid album, but it's not bad. My score, 75.5.
And Lisa, ZZ Top Eliminator.
Ugh, this album isn't for me. It just isn't. I understand that people love them, especially like my best friend Janae and her kid Aiden. You guys, I know you love them, but I'm entitled to my opinion, and I'm apologizing to you for that. Generic rock is awful, and only a select bands do it right, like maybe Aerosmith. I will never listen to this again. I will continue to turn it off when it comes on the radio. Write in, tell me you hate me. I don't care. This band scammed a lot of people, including another band, stealing their entire act. And of course, screwed over the person who may have sort of written most of this stuff. And some other people along the way. I think it's just a bad situation all around. I'm giving an apology to Fastway because I think I scored them too low. But knowing what I scored Fastway, I'm going to give this album a 32.9.
That Fastway album was fucking cool, man. Like
It's cool. It's way cooler than this. So I had to go look what I gave it so that I made sure this got lower because they were that was definitely better than this.
So we have we don't have a Patreon for the show, correct?
No.
Not yet.
Well, no, because we do have one for hey, did you ever see that movie now? And for $5 we're offering the pilot episode that nobody has ever heard of, just me and Delin, seeing if we could even do a podcast. We did Blade Runner, and it is ridiculous. It's like we're trying to be Siskel and Ebert. It is the fucking gayest thing ever. I'm like, I do concur that, and Delin's like, oh yeah, it's the word wall. So we're gonna make that available. And I was thinking about doing a Patreon for this show, just because it costs money to put this podcast out. And now I want to try and get a management company involved. So I think we're gonna do a Patreon. And I think for our Patreon, we will offer the executed podcast, the one that we were forced to take down. Now, I won't reveal who the band was that we were talking about, but if you give $5 to the show, you can find out all by yourself. So I'm going to get that up. I'm going to put that Patreon up, and we'll get it to you in the next week or so. And yeah, I know you guys are both shaking in your boots over this offer, but I don't care. I think I was nice enough to take the podcast down against my will. So yes, I will be selling that like a snake oil salesman on the black market.
Like some prayer slippers in Texas.
All left shoes.
Dave, I'm glad that you got where I was going with that. Okay, so there you go.
So what's our re-listen for ZZ Top Eliminator? I would re-listen to it. I know Lisa wouldn't. What about you, Des?
No, I can't re-listen to this whole album again. I can re-listen to the big 3 or 4, but I'm not putting this in again. I was dying at the end of this listen for it to. I actually did track 10. I'm like, oh, great, it's over. And I was like, oh, there's one more. It was like tragic. It was tragic. Okay. So at least will you add it up and tell us where this thing lands?
Sure.
Is it above Gary Sharon?
Well, we're about to find out. So ZZ Top's Eliminator from 1983 got a total score of 59.43, putting it at number 20 on the countdown, right below. I'm sorry, number 17. That was episode 20. Number 17 on the countdown, right underneath Kicks Blow My Fuse, and right above Extreme's Extreme.
Dude, poor Extreme. We've just beaten them like a redheaded stepchild.
That's
over
totally
and over.
wrong.
Oh God, I'm sorry. And you know what the scary part is? We're in Boston. Like this could fucking really come back to haunt me.
But we will say Extreme is better than Mr. Big.
Oh my God. Yes. Extreme has Nuno, so you can't.
Yeah, okay, because they have Nuno. Yeah, I mean Nuno's
the
definitely.
best.
Yeah, Nuno's pretty fucking awesome. Okay. I mean, Gary's a great. They're all great. Paul Badger, they're all great musicians. Okay. They're all great musicians. I want to officially apologize. And we had to hide that other podcast. Look what we've done to fucking Extreme here. We hid that other podcast. No, selling that podcast. Okay. I have the next pick, ladies and gentlemen. So let me tell you what your homework will be for the next 2 weeks. We will be listening to an album that I believe could possibly be a perfect album. Now, there is a difference between a 100-watt album and a perfect album. A perfect album is an album that doesn't have a hole in it. It's perfect from front to back, every song, nothing I take off, but maybe not quite 100 rats. I think this might be that. So the album we will be listening to is Rats, Invasion of Your Privacy. I listened to it 3 or 4 times, man. This is fucking a great album. Woo! Okay.
Love Rat.
Yes, this is a great album. This one will be dedicated to Fee. I know Fee loves this album. And for the Should They Have Made It segment, I'm going to do Swingin' Thing. So that's swingin', all one word with a apostrophe after the end, thing. And they're from Hollywood, and it's a great video, and it's on YouTube. You can check it. The song is All That Glitters. So All That Glitters by Swingin' Thing, complete unknown band. Should they have made it? Let's find out. And there were lots of ones I was looking at that we could have done. And I want you guys to know that I almost picked Queensryche fucking Operation Mindcrime for the album. It's got like 22 songs. It was like 2 hours long. I was like, I can't do that to these guys. They would have been like, formal resignation from show. Cannot listen to Operation Mindcrime. I am sorry.
I'm sick this week.
But some great songs. Jet City Woman. And oh man, it's a great album. Okay, so that's it. We will be doing Jaws on Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie for its 50th anniversary. We actually did Jaws as the second podcast ever on Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie? But the gear was so bad, it sounded like we were recording off of the Orca. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
You were underwater with the shark.
Yes, it was bad. It was bad. So we're redoing that one for you. So go check that out. And that's it. Until next time, I just have one question. No, that's the wrong show. Okay, take the albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you next time.